Radio's Padres fall to the Dodgers last night, 6-3 in game one of their 4-game set. They'll be back tonight at 7:10. And in the NBA Finals last night, Thunder go up 18 points on the Pacers in the middle in the game, fall back to a 2-point lead, but were able to win it. Potential closeout game Thursday at 5:30 at Indiana. Oklahoma City is currently favored by 5.5. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. The Padres get one off Ohtani.
Here comes the throw. He will be safe. Padres take a 1-0 lead on a sac fly.
But the Dodgers get the last laugh. What happens in Game 2 tonight? The Thunder rolled in OKC.
120-109 as the Thunder have 2 shots to get 1 win to hoist their first ever NBA title.
And the Panthers can lift the cup tonight. Plus, Fletch thinks the fix is in.
The same day Shohei Ohtani is making his first start for the Dodgers, Ipe Mitsuhara begins his
There's
sentence.
Do you want to know what it is?
like a collusion?
There's something going on, man. This is just either more proof for the simulation theory.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
Well, maybe.
You take the blue pill, story ends. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland.
I'll pass, Morpheus. And just listen to the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, let's get it going on a Tuesday. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. We sure do appreciate it. My name is Ben Fletcher. That is Sammy Long. We're with you until 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. We got a busy one. Padres-Dodgers game 1 was last night. NBA Finals game 5 was last night. And NHL Stanley Cup is popping off as well. We will get to it all coming up here over the next 2 hours. And we got a couple special guests stopping by. Kevin Acee is going to have his standard appointment every single Tuesday. We chat with Kev. He is coming up at 12:30 today, and then at 1:30, Jim Russell going to be joining the program. Can't wait to talk to Jimbo on the air. We've actually spent like all day with Jim Russell so far today, which is too much Jim Russell.
Yeah, I'm about to say we spent all day with him in a meeting, and now we got to listen to him at 1:30.
I'm okay with it, though. I think Jim is going to come in ready to go. I believe he cursed Xander Bogaerts back into being a somewhat serviceable hitter for the Padres. So who knows? It could be fun to talk to Jim for a little bit. Obviously, we'll get to long shots coming up in a little bit. Is Alex Caruso banned forever? I think that is at the top of the list for today's long shots.
We didn't have a great long shots yesterday. We have to blame Tatis. We have to blame Alex Caruso. Tyrese Halliburton's right calf. We have to blame that as well. So a lot of blame to go around.
And coming up with Kevin Acee at 12:30, Kevin's article about the Padres game from last night, he uses a word, erstwhile, which I had to look up and Google, and there's nothing I like better than reading a newspaper article and having to go to a dictionary for it. Sammy, do you have any idea what the word erstwhile means?
No idea. I went to San Diego State.
That doesn't mean anything. You could go to as good a school you want. I don't think anyone's ever heard the word erstwhile.
No, San Diego
before.
State's a phenomenal school. I'm just saying it's not exactly known for its scholarly,
See, that's kind of crazy that you say that. I think San Diego State's a good school.
I love San
You should
Diego
be proud
State.
of that degree.
I am 100% proud of my degree, but some people call it the Harvard of the West. Some people call it other names.
I mean, I like to call it the Harvard of the West. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We got plenty to get to today. Padres losing to the Dodgers in game 1 in disappointing fashion, man. That's coming up on the big 3. I think Indiana just absolutely gave away the game last night. There was a moment with about 9 minutes left in the game where Pascal Siakam got the offensive rebound, went out, hit a 3-pointer, got the game to within 2 points. And then Nembhard gives it away on a shining platter, and then OKC takes it from after that. By the way, we are getting news that Tyrese Halliburton is having a right calf strain in that game. His MRI is going to be a little bit later today, and then we'll find out his availability for game 6. I'm sure he's going to be playing. All right, before we get to anything else, it's time for the big 3. Sammy Long is going to take us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
If you would like to watch the show, it is available to you on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760 and on X at Fletch and Sammy. If you just want to keep on going with the iHeartRadio app, we love that too. Add us to your presets. You don't need to see these faces to hear these faces. So whatever you want to do to listen to this show, we'd love to have you along for the ride. Also, the podcast will be up about 15, 20 minutes after the show every single day. Sammy, where we start with today's big 3?
Who was most to blame for last night's loss?
In the Padres-Dodgers or in the NBA Finals?
Padres-Dodgers.
Unfortunately, it's Dylan Cease. I don't know how you go from dominating the Dodgers lineup for 3 innings to completely fall off the map in the 4th. And maybe it's the second, almost third time you're going through the lineup. But man, Dylan Cease was unhittable in the first 3 innings, 5 straight strikeouts. And then to just completely fall apart. I don't know what that was, if that was something mental, if something came off of the slider that he throws. But I noticed, especially on that Muncy at bat, he had very, very little control over the knuckle curve, and he was leaving him up in the middle of the zone, easy to hit. But Dylan Cease, I think Kevin even wrote about it. He almost looks like Dylan Cease, but he's not Dylan Cease right now.
Yeah, last night was a terrible loss to the Padres. I mean, that was it couldn't have. The game script early on couldn't have been any better. I mean, you get to Shohei in the first inning. Well, you kind of get to Shohei. It should have been a strikeout probably with Machado, or it should have been a strikeout. But the ump was kind of all over the place with those half swings all night. But you take a 1-0 lead. All the focus is on Ohtani. You come out, Cease with the 5 strikeouts in the first 5 batters, and it really felt like this was a possible kind of way to reset the tone after a tough weekend in Arizona and then in San Diego last week. And that inning was terrible. But I can't just put it on Cease because the 6-9 hitters, 0 for 14. 0 for 14. How are you supposed to go win a game up the road against a really talented Dodger team when no one in the back half of the lineup wants to hit? And I get that Merrill wasn't there, so guys got pushed down a little bit, but that's just unacceptable. And with the amount of money that they're paying some of these guys is just it is frustrating. It felt like a pretty tough loss, especially considering that it looked like Cease was going to go a ways, and the Dodgers throwing a bullpen game essentially with Ohtani starting, and you don't get to. You let Kasperius go 62 pitches, so he ate up a major part of it. I get that Scott went yesterday as well as Gates and Vesia, but the Dodgers are pretty healthy, and it seems like if you could get to the Dodgers one time in their bullpen, you could kind of screw them for the rest of the series, and the Padres just could not capitalize on that.
I didn't realize this until a little bit later on, but to your point, Sammy, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings for the Dodgers, Alex Vesia threw 8 pitches to get the final 2 outs in the 6th. Michael Kopech, 11 pitches in the 7th. Tanner Scott, 7 pitches in the 8th. Kirby Yates, 10 pitches in the 10th or in the 9th. What that tells me is non-competitive ABs, non-competitive ABs, non-competitive ABs in the final moments of a game that was absolutely within reach. In the 6th inning, the Padres had a guy on second, and then to just get out of there with no competitive at-bats to end a game against the biggest rival that you have is frustrating to say the very least. So little offense, little Cease. I like it. Blame to go around. Sammy, what's next?
All right, let's head to the NBA. We're going to get to the NBA Finals in a second. But first, per Shams Charania a little bit ago on the Pat McAfee show, the Rockets and the Heat are more realistic landing spots for Kevin Durant than the Spurs are at the moment. It came out yesterday that Kevin Durant wants to be a Spur. Out of those 3 teams that he would be okay with going to, he wants to be a Spur, as well as he doesn't want to go to Minnesota, but Minnesota is apparently still in on him and is trying to up the package to get him. And he's just expected to be traded in the next couple days because the draft's 7 days away, so they got to get this done before then.
How far off are we from KD becoming the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA?
That's an interesting comparison.
Just kind of eye-rolling every single offseason. I like KD to the Spurs. It sounds like KD likes KD to the Spurs. It sounds like the Suns also might want to torture him a little bit on his way out. What was the actual question? Where do I want to see him?
Yeah, where do you think, what do you make of this mess? Do you think KD's worth all this? Where do you want to see him?
I don't necessarily think he's worth all this. I would like to see him in San Antonio. I think he ends up in Houston.
Does any of those teams become championship contending teams?
San Antonio is the only one.
KD, I don't think the Rockets do. I really don't. I feel like that team is kind of. Everyone talks about the Rockets are going to be so good, but they got all this young talent. The problem is I don't think they have a superstar, and then to get a superstar, you have to trade a lot of your young talent. I don't see it with that. San Antonio, I agree, would be good. I don't know if I'm San Antonio, I'd do it though. I really, if I'm San Antonio, I'm keeping Wemby, Fox. I have Stephon Castle. I'm drafting Dylan Harper with that second pick or Ace Bailey. And I know it's a young player. You don't know what you're getting. But that is a very solid team. If the package is giving away Stephon Castle and that number 2 pick for Kevin Durant, 36 years old, who's dealt with massive knee injuries recently, I would not do that. I do think Miami would be an interesting spot for him, though, considering there's not too much competition in the Eastern Conference that I think would be would be too stiff to get out of there.
KD in Miami would be a problem. The tweets would just be unconscionable.
He goes to the biggest markets, but then, well, I mean, maybe not Phoenix. Phoenix pretty big market though. He goes to like New York and all this stuff, and he can't handle the criticism. It's kind of crazy.
All right, what's next?
NBA Finals. Last night, Tyrese Halliburton reporting right now, right calf strain. He says if he's walking, he's going to be playing on Thursday. Don't know his status. What do you give the spread right now is 5.5 in favor of Oklahoma City.
Kind of feels like last night ended the series, unfortunately, and Jalen Williams was fantastic. Take nothing away from him. But I do take something away from Indiana. With 9 minutes left in the game, you were right there. It was a 2-point ball game. All the momentum was on your side. You actually quieted an insanely rabid fan base at OKC who was going nuts all night last night. And then 1 turnover. And that led to 2 turnovers. That led to 5 turnovers. In the fourth quarter, man, you got to take better care of the basketball. They did not deserve to win last night. And once it got to the point where everyone was just kind of going to the basket, out of control, giving up the ball. I look at Nembhard specifically, who had some really rough plays last night. Indiana might have just given away the whole entire series yesterday.
Yeah, it feels like game 4 being up 4 with 4 minutes to go was a problem. If you could have won that game, you could have given that one away. And last night we saw it. I mean, to him, Siakam hitting the shot, bringing him within 2, and then they had 23 turnovers. And the Thunder scored 32 points off that. And you got to give Indiana credit. I mean, they fought all the way back at halftime. I had it on my phone because I turned on the Padre Dodger game, and I felt like this thing was going to be over. And then they start kind of creeping back into it. It was, I mean, they don't go away, but they're missing that closer right now because Tyrese Halliburton really is so inconsistent. He's a really fun young player to watch, but I don't know if the way that he's played warrants the kind of superstar label that we were talking about a couple weeks ago. A lot of people were around him. He's not consistent enough. He's extremely talented. He's a really exciting young player in this game, and he certainly, I think, could be a 1 on a team, but he has to figure out how to be more aggressive because he was awful before that right calf injury. And then kudos to him for trying to come back in the game, but pretty tough. If they got any shot, Siakam or Halliburton got to have a huge night in Indiana and see what happens in game 7.
We did get a text from the 949 that will be addressed on the other side of this commercial break. I agree 100%. First of all, if you'd like to text the show today, 70470, start your message with team, and you can get in on the text line. If you want to call the show today, we'll leave the lines open, 877-767-4760. If you got questions for Kevin Acee, hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on YouTube, hit us up on the text line. Again, 70470, start your message with team. Kevin Acee at 12:30, Jim Russell at 1:30, and yes, 949, we could talk some Love Island. I'll get to the text coming up next. It's San Diego Sports 760. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. And by the way, our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. Live performances by Bryan Adams, Ed Sheeran, Mariah Carey, Maroon 5, Sammy Hagar, The Offspring, Tim McGraw, and more. September 19th and 20th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Buy tickets now at AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out. All right, we'll get back to the Padres and Dodgers with Kevin Acee coming up in just a little bit. We got Sammy dealing with some issues today, man. He is heated with some headphones not working. We did get a text from the 949 saying this: Hutta should have gone home. 949, I agree. And I don't know if everyone else is caught up on Love Island out there. Here's the reason I would disagree with you, 949. That was some of the best television ever last night. My setup at home last night was Padres Dodgers on my phone, NBA Finals on the iPad, Love Island on the big TV because the wife wanted to watch it. And it was good as hell, man. Hutta screaming across the pool was one of the most iconic moments in reality television history. And I do not think she should have gone home because we would have missed that moment. But for the sake of their relationships, yeah, they probably should have gone home. Sammy, you caught up on Love Island? You watching it at all?
No, I was out in Vegas all weekend.
You got to watch it. It's so good. I now have a group text with my brother, a bunch of my college friends, all dudes who were all watching the same show. And it is the trashiest, girliest reality television show of all time. But it's fantastic.
I could see you liking that. You're a little gossip.
Dude, I kind of love it. I love it. I really do.
I'm waiting for F-Boy Island to come back. That was my favorite show.
That matches the personality.
No, because that one was fun because it's a competition. It's not just like, oh.
So is Love Island.
Is there money on the line?
Whichever couple makes it to the finish, they get $100,000.
Okay. Because I like in F-Boy Island, they have to. Some of them are either F-boys and they're there to just get the money, or some guys are nice guys who are looking for love. And then the girls don't know that. So if they get picked, they could take all the money. It's so funny at the end of the show.
That does sound kind of great. But the Hutta hurricane that hit Fiji yesterday was one of the most iconic moments I think I've ever seen on reality television. And unfortunately, I watch a lot of it because that's what my wife is into. All right, back to the sports world, which is the greatest reality TV show on the planet Earth, mainly the NFL. But baseball does a pretty good job with it too, and Padres Dodgers does a pretty good job with it. I think about what happened last night. There was a little zesty fight moment almost happening with Pages, the new superstar for the Los Angeles Dodgers, the young gun. And you watch the game, and it's an entertaining baseball game, but it's all the Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers announcers going crazy every time he does any little thing. The Major League Baseball Instagram account being completely filled up with Shohei Ohtani for him to pitch 1 inning. And I know that's what they were saying at the jump, but did anything Shohei Ohtani did last night actually jaw drop anyone? Like, seriously, I'm genuinely asking. I like Shohei Ohtani. I think he's a superstar. But
well, what do you mean by jaw drop?
He had a nice hit. On the mound, he wasn't anything special. Fernando got a hit right away. He gave up a run right away. And what did he end up throwing? Like 17, 18 pitches in that first inning?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he wasn't like some great outing. Now, if we're being honest, Machado swung on that. I mean,
yes.
Like, so it benefited the Padres, which is great. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's marketing. It's Shohei Ohtani, as much as people don't like it, brings an entire. There's a reason they weren't focusing on Mookie Betts last night. Shohei Ohtani brings an entire country that, by the way, in the World Series had higher ratings than America did. So it's. I mean, at the end of the day, MLB is like, yeah, you complain, but they're generating all this ad revenue. So yeah, I mean, it felt like, though, from a Padre perspective, we mentioned it in the first segment, it couldn't have gone better to start. You get a run on Ohtani, even though probably shouldn't have happened, but hey, it counted. You got to run. The top of the lineup was hitting well.
Pretty epic moment. Fernando Tatis Jr. sliding into home also.
That was a great slide. And then Cease was just money. And you were feeling like, oh, he's going to build off that last Tuesday start where he really kind of mowed down the Dodgers. Then that 1 inning happened. And we mentioned it yesterday. We were talking about the game. With Merrill out, you couldn't have 6 through 9 be that awful. Over 14, killing all the momentum at the end of the lineup. You're putting tons of pressure on Fernando and Arise. And shout out to Xander. Got to give him some love. He actually had a nice double there.
I put out a tweet about Xander last night. Very hesitant. Is Xander good at baseball again? Question mark. Because that's back-to-back games where he's had some big hits.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice that he stepped up. Obviously, Merrill not being there, it pushes down the lineup a little bit, but it just shows they're thin at the end of it. They got to get a left fielder. The Bleacher Report put out an article today about should basically every team, should they buy, sell, or hold? And they had the Dodgers, Giants, and the Diamondbacks all holding. Now the Giants obviously just got Devers, so that they're kind of out on some stuff. And they had the Padres at bye, and they were kind of highlighting how they have to have a left fielder. You have to have some production at the bottom of the lineup because unfortunately you can't go into playoffs where the only guy, no matter how good the top 5 guys are, if 629's not hitting it all, you're not winning. You're not going far in the playoffs, unfortunately.
You think back to some of the Phillies team that won the World Series. They got huge production from the bottom of their lineup. The Giants teams that went on that run, it felt like it was someone different every single year. Whether it was like the Aubrey Huffs of the world or who was the older dude with the beard on the Giants, Cody something. It was always someone not one of the. It was never Buster Posey.
Remember the Phillies? Brandon Marsh became a star for a little while. Last year with the Dodgers, it wasn't Shohei Ohtani. It really was. It was Tommy Edman and Teoscar Hernandez, which is why they ended up winning the World Series. There's a lot of unsung guys that come into this, and just right now at the bottom, they tried out the Trenton yesterday. The Tyler Wade. It's not working. They have to go do something if they want to be serious players down the stretch here.
Maybe that person is coming via trade sometime soon. Hint, hint, AJ Preller. They got to do something here.
It's hard because you go back and forth. You're like, oh well, it's June and they do have a good record, but I'm kind of past that. Like over the last week, going into this stretch of really tough games, over the last week against all division opponents, you're 2-5. 2-5 against teams. I mean, if you don't come back and at least win 2 games in the series, you're probably kissing the division goodbye, unfortunately. But just realistically, unless the Dodgers keep having catastrophic injuries and just fall off the face of the earth. And the Diamondbacks right now, again, only a 3-game set, but you lost a tiebreaker there. It's nice with the Giants that they're up 4-2 on that season series. So if they can get within a game or tie them, they would have the spot over them. But yeah, just really disappointing play in the last week.
So does the Pages Dylan Cease moment from last night turn into anything over the next 3 days? Because I do find that kind of interesting.
Well, you see it happen in the playoffs,
right? That was Dave Roberts and Manny Machado. That was chaos.
That's what's fun. Always, you take NBA games, NHL games, and series, and when stuff like that happens early in the series, it's going to come out later because they're going to see each other on the field the rest of the way.
And everyone kind of seemed confused last night, at least on the Padres side of things, because it didn't appear that Cease meant to. And I think Pages, even after the game, might have said to somebody, he's like, yeah, my reaction wasn't right in that moment.
Yeah.
But this is now 2 series. That's 7 games within 10 games of each other that the Padres and Dodgers are playing against each other. And if there's potential for something to boil over, I'm here for it.
Well,
I don't know. What lineup do you take in a fight?
That's interesting. That would be a good question. Who would you take in a?
Maybe we'll ask Kevin Acee that.
We'll ask Kevin Acee that. He was coming up in 5 minutes.
Will not answer that question.
He should. He knows the guys. He knows he's a good fighter. Who's throwing airplay? Who's hitting the bag in workouts?
I'm kind of glad Jackson Merrill's not out there. I feel like he would get injured in a brawl.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't take Merrill to defend me.
Me neither.
It just honestly, if we're speaking 100%.
Freddie Freeman's a big boy. Shohei is massive.
Yeah. Pages guy, yeah.
See, I think one-on-one Pages and Cease, I might take Cease.
Oh no,
Cease got crazy eyes, dude.
No, I would take Pages in that.
Cease got crazy eyes and he has intimidation beard.
In a fight,
maybe Pages has a cannon though, dude. He almost threw Nando out at home.
Yeah, like I take Machado in a fight over a lot of guys. I feel like Machado would be a tough out.
Machado's got hips. If he gets those hips behind the punch, isn't that what we always talk about in boxing? Right? It's got to be the full
legs,
body.
Baby.
It's all on the legs.
They yeah, it's just but to in all seriousness, like you see it boil over because these games mean something. Like it's much more than just a regular series or a regular week where you go, oh, the Padres have had a tough week against the Miami Marlins. You go, okay, hopefully they get it back. I mean, these are the teams that they're going to need to be beating to get to a World Series.
No matter how much Schultz and Roberts say it's just another game, it's just another series. It's not.
It's not another game. These guys want to win. There's bragging rights on the line. There's the fan bases despise each other. The players don't like each other. And, so far through 4 games, the Dodgers have gotten the best 3-1. The Padres have had their opportunities, but they haven't cashed them in. And unfortunately, this is kind of where the Padres are 4 games back in the division right now.
How about Machado's quote after the game too? It looks like he might be asking for some action over the next couple of days. He was talking about that moment and he says, they've got way more superstars over there. If we want to hit somebody, they've got some big dogs over there that we could hit.
But it's a great quote and all, and it's funny. But at the same time, and to Machado's credit, he backed it up because he had a home run last night. But
Manny might be getting one in the ear today.
It's like play with some fire. I mean, because right now they're in the win total over you. So You can have all the great quotes you want, but I mean, right now you're 4 games back and it's not looking too good. You
It's a
have an
solid
opportunity
quote.
to change that in the next 3 days.
I'd take a 3-game suspension at this point.
For who?
Like if Manny wanted to start something tonight.
Oh God, are you kidding
I'm
me?
here for it.
If Manny gets suspended, this team might not score a run over the next
That's
week.
a good point too. All right, Kevin Acee is coming up next. Our Padres insider. Stay tuned. Kev on the mic coming up next.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Padres Dodgers back for game 2 after the Padres dropped game 1 last night. Randy Vasquez be going for the Pods. Well, the Dodgers will go with another bullpen game after basically going with one yesterday after Shohei Ohtani debuted. That game will go on at 7:10, and the Dodgers currently favored by -215 on the money line. Potential closeout game in the Stanley Cup tonight. Oilers, Panthers in Florida after Panthers stole game 5 on the road. Edmonton is +135. Florida is -155 to close it out. Stuart Skinner is back in net for the Oilers. When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
It's San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim take over then. And right now, as we are every Tuesday, joined by our Padres insider, Kevin Acee. Kevin, I tell you what, when I am reading a newspaper article or an online article from somebody, my favorite thing to do is to need a dictionary nearby when I do it. And erstwhile, Kevin, erstwhile?
You needed... Yeah, I got you. Well, what do you think it means?
Well, I put it together with context clues, and I did end up looking it up. But I think it's better if we ask Sammy, who did not look it up, if he knows what it means.
I have no idea what that means.
I love that you did the whole context clues thing. That sometimes can help us out a little bit. Yeah. Dylan Cease, the erstwhile ace, the used to be, the would be, the could be ace of the Padres.
Erstwhile is a big word, Kev.
Yeah. I know sometimes I try not to because first of all, I'm not that smart. And I have come to understand that, as we've talked about before here, you guys always kind of bait me into sounding like a really old guy, but I understand that reading comprehension is not a strength of ours anymore. And so, yeah, I try not to, but sometimes there's a word that fits.
All right, well, let's talk about Dylan Cease, the former ace of the San Diego Padres. See how I did that there, Kev? It's that easy.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease, who I do agree, erstwhile ace of the Padres. What's going on with him? Because he's unhittable through 3 innings yesterday, and then the fourth, something completely changed. He was leaving that knuckle curve up a little bit in the zone. At least that's how it looked to me. The slider didn't have quite as much bite to it. What's wrong with Dylan Cease here in 2025?
It seems that the mechanics escape him from time to time, and I'm certainly no pitching coach, so I'm going off largely what I am told, kind of what I know about baseball, where, okay, if this is happening, then this might be happening. And I guess there are times you look and you see him and you go, okay, wait, that looked different. Maybe he's falling differently or something. But look, here's the thing about that is like, yeah, you look at him and you go, and look, I've made as many, you can call them explanations, or I guess you could call them excuses for Dylan Cease as anyone, because in almost every start, he has looked like that guy, right? The guy who can be, throw a no-hitter at any time. That guy, there's few of those guys. But then I also take a step back and go, Randy Vasquez looks unhittable for a few innings. Ryan Bergert looks unhittable for a few innings. Like what's so special about Dylan Cease right now is my point. And he's a special talent, but not when he falls apart for 5 runs in an inning or gives up what it was at 9 runs against the Dodgers, which does happen to everyone. But then when you put it all together, you're like, man, this ain't great. And like last night was the first time in I think 12 starts he gave up more than 3 runs. Well, some of those were in 4 2/3 innings. Like you could come up with all these things that go, man, this guy's really good. Well, is he?
Over the last week, them going 2-5. The hitters 6-9 yesterday, going over 14, and then the Devers traded the Giants. Do you think that this speeds up the process of AJ Preller on the phones?
I don't think it did, because I think that process was, already there. But maybe it did. I mean, you could argue it, I guess, that maybe he had a little more urgency but he probably needed to kind of find out what's happening with the market. And my understanding is it didn't really jolt the market because this was such a kind of an outlier, right? Like, the Devers situation in Boston and, Giants went for it. Good for them. Not everybody has the money to commit to for long-term and short-term. Look, the bottom line is the urgency is there for the Padres.
And is that urgency directed more at the bullpen, more at left field? Where would you say that urgency is at the most?
Left field, right-handed hitter who plays left field. Look, they're talking about catchers. They can't keep going like this. They can't with Martin Maldonado as, kind of the half. It's like a half and half split almost. You just can't do it at 181. But, and you can't do it especially when Elias Diaz is having to basically play every day because he's pinch hitting for Martin Maldonado, or someone else is pinch hitting for Martin Maldonado, and then Diaz has to go in. And Diaz is batting 218. And they're both just on some nights they're just a hole there. So you can't do that. But it's right-handed bat that plays left field or can play left field. Maybe it's right-handed bat as a DH who then Gavin Sheets is your left fielder. But the preference is right-handed bat, left field. Look, I think they might have to deal from their bullpen. I don't know who that is, but teams want pitching and teams want major league talent. And the Padres don't have much. They have some good relief arms in the minors, and they have some decent. They have some really good arms in the bullpen. So it's going to be really interesting. We've talked. I know you guys have talked. They just don't have a lot to give in terms of prospect capital or young major league talent capital.
Kevin Acee of the Union Tribune joining us today, like he does every single Tuesday. Now, Kev, you say something like that, and my mind goes to, I believe, your chat with John and Jim from yesterday, where you talk about Morejon as the Padres may view him as a closer, or some teams around the league may view Morejon as a closer. Is there a chance that Suarez is that name that you're talking about?
In the future, look, I haven't heard names. And I made it very clear on John and Jim that was me piecing together like what teams are asking for and what strengths do the Padres have. Where might they be able to deal from? And you're not going to be able to keep Morejon long term, probably, or it's going to take a lot of money, right, to do it. Maybe you do keep him, but it's going to take a lot of money. Robert Suarez's situation is up in the air; he can opt out. I don't know, but I'm just telling you that like that's their position of strength, and they don't have a lot to give in the minor leagues. So I'm kind of trying to play along here with the whole hubbub leading up to the trade deadline, and say, hey, maybe it is that they have to make a move there with, say, Morejon, or I guess maybe it could be with Suarez. Look, both of those sound sacrilegious to me. Those guys have been super important, and those guys will be super important to the Padres. But if you're talking about an offense that is just terrible at times, then you've got to upgrade somehow. And if you're saying, okay, we have a strength here that could help us with a weakness there, sometimes you do, AJ Preller says it all the time. You got to give up something to get something.
What were your thoughts on the Pages and Cease and Schultz situation last night?
Whatever. I mean, look, if you're going to get on Pages, then you got to go that Jurickson Profar, the beloved Jurickson Profar acted like an idiot last year. That worked out pretty well for the Padres. So yeah, I think it's awesome that Schultz gets so worked up, and then plays it off after the game like, we said to calm him down. You mean after you calm down? And I look, that's fun. It's fun that it gets like chippy like that. Look, Pages said afterward that he didn't think his reaction was right, but it was what it was in the moment. And you know what? Profar said the same thing after the game last year, middle of April. So it's fun, but it happens.
That's not what Manny said last night, though. He said, look, if we were going after someone, they got much bigger superstars. Those are some strong words for Manny Machado.
Yes. Now, this is where the guy who writes 4,000 words a day and I live in a world of context and perspective needs to point out, because Twitter doesn't have space for this, evidently, that Manny very much went on to say what a good season Pages is doing. He'll be rooting for him. The guy's doing really well. He understood that in the moment. So unlike what Will Smith last year, who just simply dismissed Jurickson Profar as irrelevant, Manny Machado had a much larger comment about that that complimented Pages and said that he understood the moment.
But that doesn't fit in 140 characters, Kev.
Yeah, I know, nor in the space of the brain of many of us. Yes,
right.
I understand, but that really kicks me off.
So let's talk about the whole Shohei of it all from last night. I think you even had a clever headline. What did you write? It's quite a show. That's not bad, Kev. But the Shohei Ohtani of it all, did it feel different yesterday? And I like hesitate to even ask it like this, but Major League Baseball, their Instagram page, completely full of Shohei Ohtani yesterday as he makes his way to the pitching mound for the first time in a Dodgers uniform. It's the only thing you see in those tweets you're talking about is, oh my God, Shohei Ohtani doing stuff we've never seen before. For you, as somebody who covers baseball on a day in, day out basis, is it different? Like, is there a noticeable difference when you're looking at a guy like Shohei Ohtani?
It's super impressive, man. Like it really is. I think there's got to be a lot of questions about what can he do coming back, second Tommy John, getting older. I mean, the demands of pitching, and then especially like that first inning, and could be multiple innings where he has to come right off the mound and hit once he lengthens back out to being a starter. It's a lot, but okay, that's for us to consider at some point. Like, it's impressive what he does. Like, and the atmosphere last night, yes, Dodger Stadium filled with Dodgers fans can feel a little obnoxious. The music's way too loud. They love them some Dodgers. It can feel a little obnoxious, but it was pretty exciting last night, man. Like, I'm a little worried about these people if this guy goes 6 innings, because they were losing their minds for like his warm-up pitches last night. Now, of course, it was the first time. I understand that. But like, everything this guy does is just monstrous. And obviously, a lot of Japanese tourists and, Japanese Angelinos. It's a happening when Shohei is on the field. And so it is. There's a new level of excitement. And of course, MLB is going to promote it. This is their global superstar. And again, I don't know how you guys feel. I understand that for Padres fans, San Diegans, it can be off-putting. I get that 100%. But like, it's pretty impressive what he does.
Kevin, you reported Yu Darvish back likely within a month, but he had a quote that he said that he'll ask his elbow how he's feeling then. What was your reaction to that? Was that a little off-putting, or what did you think about it?
No, I laughed. Joe Yu is very funny, and understand that he's speaking in his second language, which I tell people all the time. He speaks better English than I do. But, he's got a very dry sense of humor. I think he's very funny. And I appreciated that he was also candid. He does think that around the All-Star break that he can be back. And that makes all the sense in the world. It's a little less than a month, and he's about to throw, I think, in a few days probably. To hitters again, and then maybe a rehab or maybe another simulated, but he's working his way up, and all reports are good. And look, I'm as skeptical as anyone, and I understand that people are skeptical, having heard this before. Absolutely. Be skeptical. Great. All I can say is that there is a different type of talk in the organization about optimism about him coming back than there was a few weeks ago.
Well, Kev, we know that it's going to be a peregrination on the way to the postseason this year.
Oh, wow.
The trade deadline is still quite obfuscate, if you ask me, which means unclear or confusing. And it is going to be a Sisyphean task for AJ Preller to really pull something big off at the trade deadline this year.
See, and I used context clues to figure out what 2 of those words meant.
Peregrination is a long journey.
Yeah. I had something like that. Yes. Yep. Again, I am so impressed that you can do that. You can bridge that gap because it seems to me that many of us cannot do that.
I took some AP English classes in high school. Don't want to brag too much about it. I do have a journalism degree, Kevin. So the things work out in our favor sometimes.
Well, that's weird. Like, what have you ever found out how he was able to fit in 6 PE classes?
I have no idea. He has
I went to San Diego State, so this is all understandable.
He learned other things at San Diego State, apparently.
Yeah, I imagine. I'll hear about those sometime. That'd be great.
Good to talk to you, Kev. Love you, pal.
See you guys.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. The Players Place.
Well, it's always an ephemeral chat with Kevin Acee, which doesn't last long enough, But we will take a quick break. On the other side, we got long shots coming up. Sammy's got some issues with some people from last night. We'll see who's blacklisted, who's going on the list tonight. Long shots is next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Coming up next Monday, June 23rd, San Diego Sports 760 has 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway every single hour from 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. beginning this upcoming Monday. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Again, beginning this upcoming Monday at 9 a.m. $1,000 is always nice to have. Hell, Sammy Long might give that to you right now if you listen up for the next few minutes, because we got long shots on the way. Now, last night was a rare, and I do mean rare, 0 for 3. We're not focusing on the past here. We can blame Fernando Tatis Jr., Tyrese Halliburton, and Alex Caruso.
Halliburton also got injured. So
I would also say, and this is an exercise I just did, scroll back in your Prize Picks lineups. If you use that app, you can do so. Sammy's been pretty good to us over the last month. I'll be honest. I do think we are positive on the month.
Yeah, it is. Exactly. It is called long shots. Like, I'm not picking just money line winners.
Right.
I'm picking 3 or 4 leg parlays.
It's not easy.
Like, again, if we were picking straight money lines and I went like on a 4-day cold streak, then I understand being frustrated.
I like long shots a lot. It's my favorite part of what we do every single day. I'll be very, very honest about it. So let's get to it right now. And we use Prize Picks. You don't have to. It's a daily fantasy sports lineup that Sammy gives us every single day. But if you do use Prize Picks, use promo code Fletch. Get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. This could be your first $5 entry. Sammy, smash the button.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait, got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
Our buddy Rich on YouTube saying Shohei Ohtani maintaining his 9.0 ERA versus the Padres with the 1 run given up in the first yesterday. That is a reminder that long shots could have gone worse, actually. Because originally Shohei Ohtani was in there for more than 2.5 strikeouts, I believe, and he did not record a single one. So, looking positive here.
We're looking positive. I had a 4-legger, but Prize Picks, we love Prize Picks, but they just took away my Robbie Ray pick. So
you were too good, man.
It was too good. All right, so we have a 3-legger. We obviously got Stanley Cup Finals tonight, as well as some baseball. Start with baseball. Walker Buehler, Boston at Seattle, 5 pitcher strikeouts. We're going more than. Woo. I know he's struggled this season, and he's been a lot of trade talk. Could he possibly be going back to the Dodgers? But here's the thing. He had 6 strikeouts 3 games ago, then 2, then 7. I think we're motivated tonight. Walker Buehler, considering the trade. Jordan Hicks, who's an absolute flamethrower, is going to be a part of that rotation. Kyle Harrison, who got sent from the Giants to Boston, is optioned down the AAA right now. But I think that, guys get motivated, especially in a long 162-game season. When other guys come in at your position, you're going to want to show out. I think there's a big game for Walker Buehler. And Seattle has not been scoring very many runs recently. Had a little bit of a downslide in terms of the batting average. So we're going more than 5 pitcher strikeouts for Walker Buehler. All right, heading to the Stanley Cup, we got 2 picks. Connor McDavid, 24.5 minutes ice time, more than. In the last 2 games he hit this, he had 26 2 games ago, 25 in the last game. If they're losing, we keep going back to this. They're going to be doubling up Draisaitl and him on the lines all night. This is do or die in Florida. You got to keep it alive. He's going to be playing until his skates slowly fall off. There's always the shot with hockey that this goes to overtime, to extra periods. I really like this pick. I know he hit the last 2 games, but that's because it's getting down to money time. He has to be on the ice. He's the best player out there, and I expect actually a big game, Connor McDavid.
So it's 3-2 Florida right now, right?
Yeah,
tonight's game in Florida?
It's in Florida. Florida went and stole Game 5 in Edmonton. Didn't know how they were going to respond for Game 4, but Edmonton came storming all the way back after being down 3-0 in the first period. But Marchand had an unbelievable game. He had 2 goals in Game 5. So McDavid, more than 24.5 minutes ice time. On the other side, Sergei Bobrovsky, 27.5 goalie saves, more than. Florida, this is my prediction how the game's going to go. I think Florida's going to the crowd's going to be rocking. They know if they lose this game, they got to go back and win another game in Edmonton. There's a massive game for both teams. Crowd's going to be on their side. I think they're going to get an early goal in this game. That's what we're hoping for. That means Edmonton's going to have to be playing catch-up. So they're going to be going at the net the entire third period because, again, their entire postseason lives are on the line. Bobrovsky's an excellent goalie. I know this number's high at 27.5, but you always have the thought of it going to extra periods. And I think this is a potential legacy game. McDavid gets sent home twice, 2 years in a row by the same team. Would not look good for him.
Didn't Sergei get pulled in their last game?
No. That was Stuart Skinner.
Oh, that was on the other side.
That's what we called. Remember, because Stuart Skinner, we took the less than. He gave up 18 shots on goal in the first period and three goals that actually went in, and they pulled him. They're back with Stuart Skinner tonight. They took Calvin Pickard back. That's also a potential play if you want to add that. I'm not including in my long shots the under on him because, again, it's a do or die game. They're going to be pulling him for Pickard if he gives up a goal like that because you can't let this thing get out of hand if you're Edmonton. So Connor McDavid, more than 24.5 minutes ice time. Sergei Bobrovsky, more than 27.5 goalie saves. Walker Buehler, more than 5 pitcher strikeouts. Originally, I'd had Robbie Ray under 6.5 pitcher strikeouts. PrizePicks just took it away from me, unfortunately. If you have that, I like that pick. I think that he missed this pick the last time against Colorado. He actually only had 5 strikeouts. He's hit 9, 9, 7, 7 in the games before that. Pretty high number at 6.5 against a good Cleveland Guardians team. I would take the under there.
I'm sorry about this one, Sammy, but from the 619, Sammy obviously didn't learn how to get girls' phone numbers at San Diego State.
Man, talking too much mess right now.
619, that's a good one.
Fletch was bringing that up in our meeting this morning in front of everyone. Like you were Mr. Ladies Man back in the day.
I started dating my wife sophomore year of college.
Exactly.
So I had about 1 year of...
There's too many people like you who get married when they're like 19 and then talk so much crap for the rest of us. You know what I mean?
I'm not talking crap. I was encouraging you to go out there.
We were out there. Yeah, you don't bat 1,000. Look at Tatis last night.
For sure.
You
bat 300, you're a Hall of Famer.
Huh?
You bat 300, you're a Hall of Famer.
You're a Hall of Famer. It only takes 3.
All right, something Kevin Acee said when he was on our show just a little bit earlier. He said, talking about the bullpen, and that the Padres might actually be selling off a piece that is currently in the bullpen to gain some players back, saying maybe you trade in a little bit of pitching for a little bit of offense. Is that the wisest move for AJ Preller here at this point? Would you dig in to the bullpen? You got names like Morahone, like Suarez out there. And I want to make it very clear, this was opinion from Kevin. This was not anything he had heard, but there's a chance that this is happening. Is that the wisest move? Would you take away from the bullpen this year to try to add some pieces on the offensive side and maybe some lesser pieces in the bullpen? Or would you try to run it with the people that you have right now on the team? Hit us up on the text line, 70470. Start your message with team. We will begin hour number 2 with just that. Jim Russell coming up on the show at 1:30. Plus, we got some tickets to give away in hour number 2. Stay tuned here at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Payday. Padres lost game 1 of the 4-game series to the Dodgers last night. They'll be back tonight at 7:10, same time. Dodgers currently minus 215 on the money line. Randy Vasquez will be going for the Pods, while the Dodgers are going with another bullpen game after Shohei Ohtani pitched yesterday. In the NHL, Game 6 Stanley Cup Final gets going at 5 o'clock. Florida looking to close it out on home ice, favored by minus 155, while Edmonton is plus 135 on the money line. Edmonton's going back to Stuart Skinner after benching him for Calvin Pickard the other day. Hardworking people need a hardworking candy bar, a pack of peanuts, and filled with golden caramel. Payday is definitely working hard for you. So grab one now to power you through the day. Payday peanut caramel bar. Get to it.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon. The Padres get one off Ohtani.
Here comes the throw. He will be safe. Padres take a 1-0 lead on a sac fly.
But the Dodgers get the last laugh. What happens in Game 2 tonight? The Thunder rolled in OKC.
120-109 as the Thunder have 2 shots to get 1 win to hoist their first ever NBA title.
And the Panthers can lift the cup tonight. Plus, Fletch thinks the fix is in.
The same day Shohei Ohtani is making his first start for the Dodgers, Ippei Mitsuhara
Are
begins
you
his
saying there's
sentence.
like
Do you want to know what it is?
a collusion?
There's
or
something going on, man. This is just either more proof for the simulation
It
theory.
is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
Well, maybe.
You take the blue pill. Story ends. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
I'll pass, Morpheus. And just listen to the Fletch Zone.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here so far today. We've had a lot of fun. Kevin Acee was on a little bit earlier. Still to come on the show, Jim Russell's going to swing by at around 1:30 this afternoon. We'll talk some Padres. We'll talk some football with Jimbo as well. And in this hour, you can win a pair of tickets to go see Billy Currington live at Gallagher Square at Petco Park. It is to celebrate Live Nation's $30 tickets this summer. Make it a summer of live music with $30 concert tickets to 1,000+ shows on sale now at livenation.com/ticket2summer. Here's the hint I'll give. Those tickets will be given away before Jim Russell gets here and half our audience leaves. How about that?
Yeah. If he kills the streaming numbers, we all know who it is.
It's Jim. That's what he does. All right. It is San Diego Sports 760. That question that we kind of talked to Kevin Acee about with the Padres, the trade deadline coming up at the very end of July. Obviously, the Giants may not be done yet. They already got better. They added a bunch of pop to their lineup with Rafael Devers. The Dodgers, we assume, are going to do something because they always do something and they can afford to do something. And they got the developmental system to back it up. Now, the Padres are a little prospect strapped these days. They got some great ones coming up, but they're going to need those ones like we always talk about, supplemental pieces. You need cheap pieces that are performing well to go along with the expensive pieces who are locked into long contracts, which some of them are performing well. Some of them are Xander Bogaerts. Some of them are Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish, who aren't playing right now. So you look at what the Padres have to offer, and maybe what they have to offer come trade deadline time is pieces who are already on the team. Now, we talked to Kevin Acee, and the 2 names that came up were Adrian Morejon and Robert Suarez. Robert Suarez, who's currently leading the league in saves, and Morejon, who's been really serviceable this year out of one really errant throw to first base that cost the Padres a game. So you look at those 2 guys, and it's not a good situation to be in for AJ Preller, but is there a chance one of them is moving on before the trade deadline here to try to bring in some offense to this team that desperately needs some offense, so you're not losing 6-3 games to the Dodgers, but maybe you're winning them 8-6. Sammy, any thoughts on those 2 guys?
Say the 2 guys again.
Suarez and Morejon.
I mean, yeah, like
which is just the 2 names that came up. You can switch that out with other people in the bullpen, like Jason Adam could be up there.
I mean, you better be getting someone legit. The problem is the bullpen's not good enough right now. If it's a Game 7 World Series and everyone's healthy, and it goes Morejon, Estrada, Adam, and then Suarez, that's a pretty nice lineup. But as we've been seeing, the bullpen's fantastic as a sub 1.5 ERA the first month of the season, and then they've kind of tumbled down the charts a little bit. Jason Adam has had an extremely high usage rate. So if you trade one of those guys, then you have problems there. You have to address hitting, because if you don't address the hitting, that the bottom of the lineup right now is just not producing whatsoever. It's again, we keep going back to this 6 through 9, 0 for 14 last night, over 14. That cannot happen on the road up in LA trying to get a W. So you have to address that. If that's the only way to address it, then I'd probably make the move. But the Padres have multiple holes right now, and unless you got some flamethrowers coming up in the farm system, or you want to move Bergert there, if Darvish comes back, or you want to try to move a guy to the pen, that's fine. But giving away a Suarez or a Morejon, I just feel like would kind of create more problems to maybe solve one.
Now, here's the problem for the Padres that they have currently. Teams who are going to be sellers at the trade deadline, which there's not a whole lot of them, want major league ready players. Leo DeVree, Ethan Salas, Cash Mayfield, Humberto Cruz, Boston Bateman, the top 5 prospects in the Padres system are all between 18 and 20 years old. Their top prospects in Leo DeVree and Ethan Salas, both 18 and 19 years old. So the problem is the Padres don't have a whole lot of people in their system who are ready to just come up and impact a Major League Baseball team right away. They got some really great prospects, but they're young. And the Padres are going to need those really great prospects in the coming years when you have aging contracts like Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove still on the books. So I don't know what situation the Padres can do because, like you said, Sammy, they're bleeding in a lot of places right now. Left field is a black hole for the Padres. The catcher position, while it's been pretty good defensively, has been a black hole in the lineup offensively. Bullpen, I do think, needs another arm. So you got 3 big problems on this team right now, and you might not have prospect capital to go out and make a huge trade.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you don't want to give up one of the superstar young kids, but I mean, they're just in like it's a tough situation to handle because I think they need starting pitching help. It's a problem when Musgrove, who's out for the year, and Darvish, who are your 2 highest paid pitchers, aren't pitching. So yes, I think the starting rotation, if everyone's healthy going into the playoffs, if you have Darvish going and Cease and King and guys, that's a pretty good group. That's a group that could cause some damage for people and keep you in games. The bullpen is set right now. I don't know how deep the bullpen is. Again, as we've been kind of seeing that recently, as they've kind of tumbled down the ranks because the usage is there. And in baseball, it's weird with trades because it's usually for a lot of prospects and things like that. It's not really like the NFL where you're swapping, like I'm going to trade a receiver for a corner in a first round draft pick or something. So they got to do something. Duran from Boston keeps getting thrown out there, but they just traded Devers. So are they? And they're on a 6-game winning streak, 7-game winning streak, I believe. So I don't know that Boston's really going to be looking to sell right now. To what you just said about, I don't know how many sellers there are. They got to do something, though, because the bottom of this lineup has been an absolute black hole. And I know Merrill's not there, so it was kind of even darker last night because they got even less help. But if you have an injury to one of your top guys, this team's done.
And I'd really wonder how the fan base would react if you move on from a Suarez, who's going to be probably one of 2 all-stars for this team this year, who has one of the more iconic entrances in all of baseball, who gets the fans of Petco Park all rowdy. What would they do if Suarez somehow, even though it kind of makes sense financially to move on from him at this point, what does that do to the fan base? Does that impact anything down the stretch of the season? I think it does.
Yeah, and if it's like I'm not going to re-sign Morejon, then maybe. But it feels tough to be punting on the bullpen just to get a batter. Like I just don't know how much better that makes you. I don't know if that really does anything.
It might even out. All right, we're going to do the big 3 right here, get some stories from around the world of sports. We'll get back to the Padres in a bit with Jim Russell, but right now it is that time. Sammy, smash the button, baby.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Breaking news. I didn't even know about this. The Chiefs begin their 3-day mandatory minicamp today.
You know what's up.
Are you freaking out over there? Are you watching live?
I need football to be here, like badly.
I think we're about 80 days.
Yeah, we need.
That means about 70 days from college football, if that makes you feel better.
Love me some college football as well. Yeah, we're in desperate need. We're about to get to the dog days where we love baseball, but
when baseball is the only thing on,
we need training camp. Training camp's got to be here. When training camps are here, then you start getting reports, you're getting stories. It's good.
78 days, 10 hours, 51 minutes, and 2 seconds away from the kickoff of the 2025-2026 NFL season.
I wish they pushed the NBA. No, baseball would never allow this, but I wish they pushed the NBA season to where it ended in August.
They might get there within a couple years. It seems like it goes deeper and deeper into the year every single year.
Well, not add games.
The playoffs started in April. It is June 17th.
They need to start the NBA season on Christmas Day. That would be fun. You start on Christmas Day. Don't interfere with the NFL, college football, all that stuff. Start on Christmas Day, end in August. It'd be amazing.
Don't training camps for basketball get going in like a month?
No, like September.
3 months?
3 months. Yeah, it's about when a couple weeks when the NFL starts.
It's crazy.
Okay, we gotta get to this. Stephen A. Smith says NBA players have told him they would feel unsafe playing in a city like Memphis. He said, quote, cats like Jimmy Butler and others don't feel like it's the safest environment. I'm talking to the local authorities in Memphis. Ja responded, was obviously not happy about this. There's been a lot of rumors about they just traded Desmond Bane. Is Ja Morant on the move next? What are your thoughts of Memphis not being a safe city to play in?
What are we supposed to do with this, Sammy? I mean, so wait, what is Ja Morant saying? I'm curious that Ja Morant is about to be a spokesperson on this. Is he mad at guys like Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, Ja Morant said, why are you focusing on a story like this when the NBA Finals is on? And then made a reference to the PD department and said it's safe in his city or something like that.
I will say, look, when you're talking about crime rates per capita, I don't even think Memphis is close to the top. Now, we might be speaking a little out of term here, but Mobile, Alabama, number 1. Anchorage, Alaska, that one doesn't really count because there's hardly anybody that lives there, but it is a high crime rate. Chandler, Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona, Glendale, Arizona, Mesa, Arizona, Scottsdale, Arizona, Tucson, Arizona.
What's going on out there, man?
And then it's a bunch of California. Then it's a bunch of Florida. So we're talking about crime per capita.
Do you think Ja gets moved?
I think probably for the betterment of the league, maybe Ja Morant gets moved. He is entertaining as hell, man. Unfortunately, Ja Morant in that jersey, you're seeing the gunshot, you're seeing the grenade throwing, you're seeing everything.
Ja Morant has the talent to be like, everyone talks about a face of an NBA.
He's a superstar.
He's a fun player to watch. He's a throwback player. Reminds you a lot of Derrick Rose. You worry about his knees later on, but driving doesn't really kind of go with the whole just jack up a million threes.
He posters people on a regular basis. Ja Morant's awesome.
Yeah, so I wonder if he gets moved now that Bane's gone, kind of breaking that whole thing up. But I thought it was a pretty funny quote from Stephen A.
Wouldn't it be fun if Ja Morant and Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James were the starting 5 of the Los Angeles Lakers?
I would cry. I would 100% cry if that happened. Okay. At a training camp, mandatory minicamp, Giants rookie quarterback Jackson Dart draws praise. Did he quote from Brian Dable, fit right in? Are the Cowboys or the Giants finishing 4th in the division?
Dude, there is a real argument to be made for either. We have no idea what Jackson Dart is, and so we can kind of refrain judgment so that we know what Dak Prescott is. I know I talk a lot of smack about the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He kind of leaves you in purgatory if you're a football team, but Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. As of right now, gun to your head, the Giants finished 3rd. The Giants finished 4th. Or what did I say? The Cowboys finished 3rd. The Giants finished 4th. But if Jackson Dart comes out and is a baller, there's not a huge gap between those two teams.
If you look at talent on the team, the Giants actually have a lot of talent. Like Tyrone Tracy's a nice young running back. Malik Neighbors, the defense is young. They got a great pass rush with Carter. You're assuming coming in as a rookie. Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence. You got a lot of guys on the defense holding that down. The Cowboys are kind of devoid of talent. You have Micah Parsons. Diggs is back. CD. And then however you feel about Dak, I think Dak's a top 15 quarterback, top 12, maybe fringe top 10 if you're being kind to him. The Cowboys are kind of just an absolute mess right now.
They add George Pickens. The Cowboys aren't devoid of talent.
Is interesting. The defense was horrible last year, and that's not just fixing because Trayvon Diggs comes back. Yes, the corners were awful, but that defense was not a player away from being a good defense. The defense needed a complete overhaul, and they didn't really do it.
Diggs is also the most risk-reward player in the NFL. He is the most boomer-bust cornerback in the NFL at the very least, where it is either he is giving up a touchdown or he's having a pick 6. He's awesome, but he can get burned quite a bit. Look, the Cowboys aren't a bad team, but neither are the Giants. The gap between those two is not as big as you might think.
All right, this is an optics question real quickly. So the Pacers, who are in the NBA Finals, just got lost last night, 120-109. Traded the number 23 draft pick to the New Orleans Pelicans today with the draft 7 days away. Do you think it's a good idea for them to be trading draft picks while they're in the NBA Finals and Tyrese Halliburton just comes off a calf strain?
This is really dumb. I feel the same way about baseball, how their draft is in the middle of the baseball season. I think it's idiotic. You're splitting resources. If this was the thing in the NFL, like seriously, if this was a thing in the NFL postseason, if you had, say, let's just use the Giants because they're top of mind right now. The Giants are in the postseason interviewing potential coaching replacements for the following year. we would lose our minds about it. They would be the laughing stock of the league, or they were trading draft picks while they were in the middle of the postseason. It's outrageous to me, but it's like Indiana's already saying, oh yeah, we probably lost this one. Let's reload for next year.
Yeah, like if you make a deal, you make a deal. But in that regard, people who you almost get a benefit, and this is horrible in college basketball, in college football. This is a massive problem with both of these two organizations. Is you almost, if you're a blue blood program and you get eliminated early, you almost get a benefit for next year.
It's a huge benefit
that teams who are still playing are focusing on that season, and you're focused on recruiting for the next couple seasons. That's not how that should work. It shouldn't work that the transfer portal is open or things like that. This is a little bit different because it's the NBA draft. It is a week away. I like that the NBA draft is actually right after the NBA finals. I think it's kind of top of mind and it's fun. I guess you could push it a month or so, but free agency is only a couple weeks away, so it kind of gives something to talk about in the summer. But yeah, it is odd. We've started seeing this really encroached on college sports and then the NFL. I mean, people are interviewing head coaching candidates who are already fired and things like that, where other teams are still focusing on trying to win a Super Bowl. I'm curious what Indiana radio and media thinks about that today, considering it wasn't a great look last night and your star player might not be playing for the rest of the series, which probably doesn't bode well for the Pacers' chances to come back and win, and you're making trades for draft picks. But I guess you got to do what you got to do.
If you want to look at a list of things that are killing college football, to your point, it's the fact that bowl games have nobody in them, not because of injury concern and guys wanting to protect themselves for the NFL draft. There's nobody playing in these bowl games because guys are hitting the transfer portal already and are already going to new teams. And by the way, coaches are doing it too. Last year, Washington State, they were playing in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego. 40 people were already gone from the team between coaches and players.
Remember March Madness? Michigan had the Trey Donaldson. I believe it was Trey Donaldson was in the transfer portal and his team was still playing.
That's ridiculous.
Like that should not be happening.
No, it needs to wait until a full week after the season ends.
Yeah, like it's a bad setup system and it needs to change.
All right, quick break. Billy Currenson tickets coming up on the other side. He's performing outside of Petco Park at Gallagher Square coming up on the 19th. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for Jim Russell, who's going to be joining the show coming up at 1:30. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Gary Cooper over at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. Gary Cooper was actually going to be here today for this one, but he's too busy closing a sale on a home. That's what Gary Cooper does. He eliminates the smoke and mirrors when it comes to mortgages. He is a kick-ass real estate agent. He will sell your house as well. Call Gary today at 858-376-1299. Get out your pens now. I'll give you the number again at the end of this. Gary Cooper prides himself on the fact that he's been in the San Diego market doing realty, taking care of mortgages for over 30 years now. Give Gary a call today and eliminate the smoke and the mirrors and the shell games when it comes to mortgages. You call 5 different companies trying to figure it out. You get 5 different answers on what your interest rate could be, what your personalized quote unquote interest rate will be. And Gary makes sure that he gets you the absolute lowest rate you can possibly get. Gary makes sure that his name is as reputable as it is when you sign the paperwork as it is when you are done being his client. Call Gary Cooper today. Before you pull the trigger on a home equity line of credit from someone else, call Mountain Trust to get the facts about the pitfalls that exist with HELOCs and make sure it's the right program for you. Call Gary Cooper today at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty at 858-376-1299. You can also visit them online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. My wife and I are using Gary Cooper right now as we're shopping for our first home, the biggest investment we will ever make in our lives. We've entrusted it with Gary because Gary Cooper is the absolute man. Go to his office, give him a call. He will give you his degree of loanology, and you're going to walk away from that conversation smarter than you were heading into it, and you'll feel a little bit more comfortable with the home buying process. Give Gary Cooper a call today with any questions about mortgages, home loans, buying a home, selling a home, refinancing your loan. Gary Cooper's got all the answers. Call him today, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim will take over then. We got Billy Currington tickets coming up in the next 9 minutes, so don't go anywhere. 619 Anchorage, Alaska. Hardly anybody lives there except for the 294,000 people who live there. Thank you, 619-858. Fletch, the population of Anchorage is 200,000 or 286,000. Mobile is 182,000. I do apologize if I got the Anchorage, Alaska population numbers wrong.
I was surprised when I said it that you had those in front of you.
No. Oh yeah, I had the list of the highest crime density per capita, but that was just Wikipedia. So blame them, not me.
Don't imagine that being a real thing.
Don't talk shade on Anchorage, dude. They'll come after you.
Memphis. I'm scared to go to Memphis because I'm going to get shot.
I mean, that's a perfectly valid fear. I think. I don't know.
Not as an NBA star.
I don't know, dude.
You're not living where there's violence all the time.
Wasn't there something like Dan Campbell talking about Detroit where it was like he got doxxed or something and then all of a sudden he had to like take his family away? I think that happened during last year's NFL season.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So of course there's problems. Like not everywhere is the best place in the world to live. Like I would imagine if you're a pro football player, the safest place for you to be might be Green Bay. Because it's literally a town built around the football. That's what it is.
You're so rich in like you're not living with normal people.
I mean, I wouldn't want to live in the Bay Area. I'm a Niners fan. I wouldn't want to live there.
Like, but you're not scared of safety in San Francisco.
You might be. I got a buddy who lives in San Francisco. He's terrified of safety. His car's been broken into like 10 times.
I assume he's not making millions of dollars, right?
No, he's making good money, but he's living downtown.
Right, exactly. So like they're not, all the NBA stars aren't living in the city.
It's just who brought this up initially?
Stephen A said this today on First Take that he had, per sources, guys like Jimmy Butler and other dudes didn't want to play in Memphis because they were literally scared of the city. They didn't want to do it. And Ja Morant responded. I
mean, what city doesn't have crappy parts to it? You know what I'm saying?
Right. San Diego has hood parts to it. San Diego has spots that you wouldn't necessarily be like, I'm just going to walk around down there at night. Like that doesn't mean like it's an unsafe city.
That's wild for Stephen A. Smith. Who's telling him that also? Like,
maybe I'm not even ripping Stephen A. He might be right. He might literally be getting reporting from NBA stars going, I'm not going to team up with Ja in Memphis
because they're too scared to move to Memphis. That's kind of a crazy thing to say. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. Game 2 between the Padres and Dodgers is coming up tonight in this series. Dodgers took 2 out of 3 against the Padres first time around. That was about a week ago now. And it started off poorly for the Padres as of last night, with the Dodgers winning in essentially a bullpen game. Now, Sammy, correct me if I'm wrong. It's another bullpen game for the Dodgers coming up tonight, right?
Yep. So it's an opportunity for the Padres. I mean, the Padres better hit tonight.
I feel like you'd rather face one of their starting pitchers. I'll be honest. The bullpen's been dominant.
But with the fact that the bullpen, yes, so they pitched Scott. Scott didn't go very many pitches, though, so he could probably pitch again tonight. Kirby Yates and Vesia. Yates and Vesia are not going to come out tonight. And Kasperius, unfortunately, the Padres could not get to him, so he went 62 pitches, ate up a lot of that. And Bondo went yesterday, so Bondo's not available. You're looking at Matt Sauer, Justin Robleski, who keeps thinking he's going to get thrown in the game against the Padres, and he just keeps kind of avoiding it. But I expect him to pitch tonight. Matt Sauer, probably Luis Garcia. So definitely not the Dodgers' high leverage arms. So if you're the Padres, what they were doing in the first 2 innings was working pitches. And you look like it was going to be a successful night for the Padres in terms of you were going to burn a bunch of arms of the Dodgers, but then it just completely flipped around and the bats went cold, mainly due to the back end of the lineup. So it's an important way for the rest of the series, not only to win, but try to burn some arms for the Dodgers.
Yeah, the biggest storyline for me last night, outside of Dylan Cease going from looking completely unhittable to very, very hittable in the span of 1 inning's time, was the fact that in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, the Padres just had zero competitive ABs. We're not forcing the Dodgers to throw anything at them. It was all 10, 11 pitch innings, some even less than that. Padres have to understand that in order to get to a good bullpen, you got to make them throw a lot of pitches.
Did you see that stat on the broadcast about Cease that his opposing average is like 232 or something in the first go around. In the second go around, it's 299, and then in the third go around, when he sees a batter for the third time, it's 185.
What's bizarre about that is so it gets worse as the game goes on.
Well, no, his worst facing hitters, opposing hitters, is the second go around. He gets way better against the third time he sees.
Now I wonder. So we kind of talked about that with Kevin Acee. It's like a lot of his starts sometimes this year, especially, have been like 4 2/3 innings. because that second time around they get to him.
That could have something to do with that.
Just like they did last night. When he goes deep into games, it's when he's dealing. It's that Dylan Cease that faced the Dodgers last time they played. He gets to the 7th and he's dealing.
It's interesting. That's a good thought. It's even, but that dramatic of a change to go up the second time,
it's wild,
and then to go way down the third time, it's kind of unexplainable. They're talking about on the broadcast. It's like I don't even know what to say to it. It's just kind of odd.
Yeah, last year he was not a very good first inning pitcher until he really hit his groove 3 or 4 months into the season, and then he was just dominant for the span of 2 or 3 months after that. This year it's been a mixed bag for Dylan Cease, and we've seen him look truly great one time this year. And I thought we were going to get another one last night through 3 innings. He had everything working, and then something happened with that little knuckle curve he throws where it was just hanging out over the middle of the zone. And Max Muncy punished the ball, man. If he got any elevation on it at all, that was a goner.
The weird thing about that inning, I know we're getting out of here, but it wasn't even home runs. It wasn't like they got a couple on.
No, but it was solid contact.
It was solid contact in the field of play. The Dodgers doing to the Padres what they did last year in October. They were just putting the ball in play, putting pressure on the base pass, and when you do that, you're probably gonna crumble at some point.
All right, we'll talk some trade deadline with Jim Russell coming up next. I'm curious his thoughts on our conversations with Kevin Acee over the last couple of days. Of course, we'll talk a little bit of Niners. It's my Niner brethren, and we'll make Sammy all, what are you talking about? They're not going to win 10 games.
Why would I be? I love Niner fans are my favorite group of people.
All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. If you want to go see Billy Currington right now, is the time to call 877-767-4760. Billy Currington on July 19th out at Gallagher Square at Petco Park, celebrating Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer. Make it a summer full of live music with $30 concert tickets to 1,000+ shows on sale now at livenation.com/ticket to summer. Caller number 7 right now, 877-767-4760. You are going to see Billy Currington. We'll be right back with Jim Russell coming up next.
This sports sponsored by Superstar Car Wash. Padres Dodgers back for game 2. Padres lost last night in game 1. Randy Vasquez be going for the Pods. Well, the Dodgers will have another bullpen game for Shohei Ohtani. Went for the first time in a Dodger uniform pitching last night. The game will be at 7:10. The Dodgers are currently minus 215 on the money line in the Stanley Cup final. Game 6, potential closeout for Florida. That game starts at 5 o'clock. The Oilers will have Stuart Skinner back in net after taking it back from Calvin Pickard. Florida is minus 155 to do so. If you know, you go. It's Superstar Car Wash. They're proud to have over 550,000 members. Be in the know and try what everyone loves today. Text Super CA to 27800 to get 50% off their best wash. Terms and conditions apply.
San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow, 6 o'clock right here on San Diego Sports 760. It's SDFC Midweek Live here from the head coach, Mikey Vadas, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club and MLS information, SDFC Midweek Live every Wednesday on your home for SDFC San Diego Sports 760. Sammy Long, who won those Billy Currington tickets?
Rudy's going to the show. Rudy.
Dude, he's about to come in the fourth quarter of a huge game for Notre Dame and win and take the boys to victory. Can't wait for it.
That was one of the most depressing things of all time when they said that a lot of that movie's not real.
Talk to Steve Hartman about that. Maybe we will on Friday. Steve, that is his least favorite movie ever created.
I could see him hating that because it's not factual.
Because it's not factual. That's right.
They say he didn't get the sack.
No, I don't even think he got into the game.
They said he was kind of a kiss ass too. So it was like really depressing. It's like, no, just let the movie be what the movie is.
Was it Entourage where the real Rudy got into a couple episodes?
Was he in Entourage?
It might not have been Entourage.
Sean Astin was in Entourage, I believe. The actor.
There's something with Rudy in it. I can't remember it. All right. If you're watching on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760 or on X, you're going to find someone here. His name's Jim Russell. Hi, Jim.
Hi.
What's up?
How you doing?
You've been at work like all day long today. Are you okay?
You have too.
I know. I'm here every day though.
You're here way longer than I am. But oh, my camera just fell. Oh well.
It's still on you somehow.
Yeah. It's looking good, Jim.
It's like sideways.
What is happening?
Hold on. It's in that show already.
It's Trainwreck Radio at 1:30 in the afternoon instead of what time do you guys do that?
Every day at 4:45.
4:45. Make sure you're listening for John and Jim today. You guys probably got Billy Currington tickets too. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. A little crossover action here today. Jim, we've been having this conversation all day, but what the hell does the word erstwhile mean?
Was that in Kevin's article?
That was in Kevin's article. I'll give you the sentence.
Okay. Use it in a sentence, please.
All right. Their erstwhile ace allowed 5 runs. Their erstwhile ace allowed 5 runs in the 4th inning.
Erstwhile.
Real quick, as a writer, aren't you supposed to use words that people understand?
I mean, I thought so, but Kevin's challenging us a little bit today. You're not allowed to Google it, dude. What the hell?
I just did because I couldn't even guess. Erstwhile is an adjective. Former, his erstwhile rivals. So
he's essentially calling Dylan Cease the former ace of the San Diego Padres.
Okay.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all.
Dylan Cease this year has been, mid at best. Last night starts out hot, feels like he's going to have, another outing like he did his last outing versus the Dodgers where he went 7, struck out 11, gave up no runs, only 3 hits. And then the wheels just completely fell off in the 4th inning. And that's been the story of Dylan Cease's season, where there's moments where he looks good, but he can't put it together and he's wildly inconsistent. And I hate to say it, but he reminds you a lot of Blake Snell, where he just has the stuff. He has ace-like stuff. He can look phenomenal. And then all of a sudden, boom, wheels fall off. And, the inning turns into a disaster, which what happened last night in the 4th. And once he gave up 4 runs in the 4th there, that thing was over.
So usually I try to shower with you and John every morning.
Shower?
Yeah, you guys do the wrap-up show. And I
shower. You shower with us?
Do you look at them on the camera while you're showering?
While I'm getting ready for work, yeah. I usually throw John and Jim up on the top of the shower head. And
I've seen you naked, but without even knowing it?
Yeah, Jim, you have. Love that. But on Tuesday mornings, I usually watch the previous night's Kill Tony episode. And so I did not catch up with you guys this morning, but what was the vibe on the chat last night? Did you guys get infiltrated by Dodger fans? How was the wrap-up show?
That's every night. No matter even if we're talking about Padres Dodgers or not, it's Dodger fans love to infiltrate our chat. I think the main vibe right now from Padres fans to me is this team ain't good enough. They're not good enough. And seeing the Dodgers and seeing what the Giants just did in the division and realizing that there's like 9 teams in the National League all vying for 6 spots, they need an upgrade. And if the guys that are currently on the roster aren't going to start, if they're not going to start performing, then they need some outside help. But here's the problem. And I don't know if you talked to Kevin about this today, but when we had Kevin on yesterday, if you're a Padres fan, don't be like clinging to the hope of them making this massive trade at the trade deadline, because that might not come. And if it doesn't come, which Kevin doesn't think that will happen, then it puts more pressure on the guys that are here in this lineup right now, where they need to perform. And Toddy's heating up, but guess what? He needs to start hitting for some more power. Luis Ariz needs to remember that he's a 3-time batting champ. Gavin Sheets has done more than enough this year to hold his own, where Manny and Gavin Sheets 3-4 have been a really good 3-4 for this team. Xander's a complete lost cause right now. And the bottom half of your lineup is just a bunch of black holes after black holes after black holes.
That's why it doesn't make sense. The 6 through 9 is over 14 last night. You're talking about trading a potential closer in either Suarez or Morajon that I talked about last night. Like, what does that get you? Like, I don't. So you get some more hitting at the back end of the lineup, but the bullpen, Jason Adam has some of the most taxed arm of this entire group. Is he going to become your closer? Then you're going to ask more of him. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the thing is, if you go and trade from a place of strength to fill a place of need, then you're just creating potentially another hole by trying to fill another hole. It's like, those commercials, those infomercials where they're like, the giant water tank is, and it's like, look, we just sealed the water tank with this giant tape. Well, the thing is, there's multiple leaks with this Padres tank. And even if you just, fill one hole with some like super tape, there's still 3-4 other holes that are still leaking. And if you take tape away from another hole to fill another one, it's like, you're not addressing the problems here. You're just creating new problems for your team. And they don't have the wiggle room, nor do they have the depth to withstand a potential move like that. They might, but still, it would be very risky to all of a sudden be like, our bullpen has been carrying us all year. They've pitched the most innings in baseball. Let's use one of our bullpen pieces to trade. Oh, okay. Well, is that going to fix the fact that you're still going to be using your bullpen a bunch? Because if you're still going to be using your bullpen a bunch, then your bullpen's weaker now, and that could hurt you. So it's there's some problems with this team for sure.
Bullpen's leaky, left field's a black hole, and catching is offensively a black hole. It's not good for the Padres, and they don't have any prospects that are their top prospects that aren't like 18 or 19 years old that aren't ready to come in right now and make a difference on an MLB team. All right, 858 texting again says, rumor has it that Rudy grew up to be the steroid bodybuilder from 51st Dates. CTE is no joke, folks. That's a fact. He also became the boyfriend of Winona Ryder in Stranger Things. Even though he put on a few pounds by
Stranger Things.
He was also on the road to Mordor with Frodo. Rudy's had a busy
I didn't
life.
know getting one sack in your career could lead to a D-list acting career.
Speaking of sacks, we are officially, where'd the date go? Here it is. 78 days, 10 hours, 19 minutes, and 55 seconds away from kickoff of the NFL season 2025-2026.
That's soon.
Yeah, it's coming, Jim. We're 3.5 months away now at this point.
We're already past OTAs. Next up, training camp.
Mandatory mini camps are getting going like today across the league. I feel good about the Niners. I don't know why guys like Sammy Long like to say the Niners are going to win like 8 games this year. I really think this is 11 or 12 win team.
8 games. I said less than that.
Same point still stands. I think this is a 12-13 win team. My number's going up.
What?
If the 49ers don't win at minimum 10 games this year.
Thank you. Fire everybody.
Then we've got a problem. And it's because they have not the worst schedule, but as far as strength of schedule goes, it's the easiest in all of football.
Yeah,
by
I keep
like
hearing that, but don't take in the fact that you guys got worse. Everyone talks about how the schedule is so easy.
How'd they get worse? They got way healthier.
Because you're going the defense. Talanoa Hufanga gone. Drake Greenlaw gone. The guy that you would have won the Super Bowl if he played.
Michael Williams in.
Oh, really? Okay. Debo Samuel gone. And yes,
Debo's fat now. It doesn't even matter.
It still is going to be a thing because now you're counting on Brandon Ayuk coming back off of ACL injury. To be
You're
really
forgetting
good.
the next Jerry Rice, Ricky Pearsall.
See, this is just fanboy hour. Like this is like you don't think the Cardinals have gotten better. Look at what they did in the draft. Will Johnson got a bunch of high impact defenders. Seattle, Sam Darnold doesn't suck.
Well, if you're going to say that the Cardinals got better through the draft, then how can you say the Niners didn't get better through the draft?
I'm not saying that you're not a terrible team. I'm just saying I keep hearing that the schedule's awful, so you're going to win 11, 12 games.
You don't face any of the top 5 quarterbacks in football this year if you're the Niners.
So successful season for the Niners is getting the playoffs and losing to the Rams.
No, getting to the playoffs and winning a freaking Super Bowl over the stupid Kansas City Chiefs. That's what's going to happen.
They're a team that is going to have to stay healthy this year. And if they do, they have just look at the weapons that they still have and on defense who they still have. And I think what they're doing right now is they're in a position where they can kind of semi rebuild while also be in a win now mode.
Thank you.
Jim, I got a real question for you. Where do they stack in the NFC? Because he is delusional about this, but I'm curious what you think.
All right. So we got
delusional. We
got obviously Philly's not the best team in the NFC. Rams are up there. Washington, yeah. They had a tough schedule though. Detroit lost their center. Detroit, they have a bunch of weapons for sure.
Sammy's over here trying to say Chicago.
No,
Chicago's I'm telling you, they're gonna make the playoffs this year.
And Sammy's also saying Chicago's gonna win the NFC North.
No,
it's an insane thing to say.
It's a shot.
The Niners are, to me, if you're looking at the top tier in the NFC of, Eagles,
Green Bay, possibly.
I would say that the Eagles are in a tier of above everybody. I don't think there's anybody right now in the NFC that is on that tier talent wise. I would put the Niners like second, third tier, probably closer to like third tier, second tier type of team in the NFC. But if you're just looking at, their schedule and who they still have I think you're not understanding how important Christian McCaffrey is to this team. The fact that if he's healthy, which he looks like he is, and a healthy George Kittle and a healthy Juwan Jennings and a healthy Trent Williams and a healthy Bosa and a healthy Warner and a brand new defensive coordinator that, oh, by the way, is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league.
I guess it's just different for me. I don't believe in Purdy. You guys love him. I don't see it. I think he's a decent quarterback. I think he's a fine quarterback, and sometimes he can be good. I think he needs a lot around him. And I keep hearing about how the injuries last year is why he sucked. But that's what the team is going to look like.
Well, the thing is, Sammy, when you take away an all-pro left tackle and you take away an all-pro in Christian McCaffrey, and then you have one of your, Pro Bowl wide receivers be out with an ACL injury, I'm sorry. There's only like 2 quarterbacks tops in the league that could manage all those injuries around him and still perform. And even then, it's going to be difficult.
And the offense wasn't the biggest problem a year ago.
But that's what the team is going to be closer to.
Special teams were big issues for the Niners last year. We can get off of this. Jim, you've been a great big ball of light today.
Oh, thank you.
I sure love the hell out of you. What's coming up on the back page?
The back page today?
Yeah. Starlink did a thing up in Vandenberg that was seen
right by my house.
Visual in San Diego last night.
Well, I'm glad you asked that.
I think Taco Bell is releasing some crispy chicken tacos.
Harold and Kumar new movie.
I'm telling you, the bigger Acee and Fletch show on 101.5 KGB is essentially just 4 hours of Jim's back page.
Right, yeah.
You should tune in. Do some show prep.
A Nike shoebox sold for a ungodly amount of money today. I'll tell you how much. Also, Angel Reese filed for a trademark, which it just fits her perfectly. And there'll be some more, but stay tuned for that later today.
Angel Reese, one of the only players in history, by the way, with more rebounds than points scored so far in her career.
Are you saying you're not an Angel Reese fan, Ben?
I do. Angel Reese is great.
I'm saying that she needs to get a lot better.
Most of those are offensive rebounds, by the way.
Yeah.
off of her own misses. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. You'll hear from Jim a little bit later on, as well as some John Schaefer as well on that show, I guess. It is San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break. We'll wrap this thing up, get you ready for John and Jim. Coming up next, it is San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Sammy and I got something we want to see happen in tonight's Padres-Dodgers game. We'll unveil that to you in just a minute. But a couple movie news. Pirates of the Caribbean 6 is happening.
Really?
Jerry Bruckheimer, who directed all the other ones, says they're getting most of the cast back. Don't know about Johnny Depp.
Okay, well, that's grade A. I don't care about most of the cast. Johnny Depp better be acting in it.
Orlando Bloom did say it's time to get the band back together. So it looks like Will Turner is back in the fold.
Keira Knightley back?
I hope so, man. Dude, Keira Knightley.
Childhood crush, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Oh my God. Unreal. Number one for a long time,
dude.
What
she said in an interview, I believe it was on Fallon. So this is not me saying this.
You're more of a Kimmel guy, aren't you?
I love them all. I'm a massive Kimmel fan, but I love Fallon, love Colbert, I love them all.
I think Conan's top of the mountain.
Yeah, well, Conan's one of the greatest. Like Conan, side note, can always save an interview because he's always funnier than the guests or just as funny as them.
That's a fact.
That's his. Conan could
We needed a little of that with Jim Russell earlier.
Yeah. He's all.
Hey guys.
Hey, everything sucks. I hate my life.
Come on, Jim. Get excited one time. What were you saying about Keira Knightley? Sorry.
She said on Fallon that she almost didn't get the role because the producers or the upper management didn't think she was hot enough. Which is insane.
As Elizabeth Swann, nobody else could have done it. Fire! Yeah. Oh, she was great. But Pirates of the Caribbean 6 due to come out soon. Or at least start filming soon. And then Harold and Kumar. What would this be the fourth Harold and Kumar movie?
Fourth Harold and Kumar movie. Phenomenal. The boys are back.
I'm stoked.
Everyone's back. I hope that's in theaters so you can get the whole theater. I'm sure will be hotboxed. And and you get some White Castle going to it. I think it'll be a fun time.
There is drama about whether White Castle even signed off on being part of the first movie. Like, I don't think they ever did. I think they ended up getting a bunch of money from those guys.
There's like White Castles in Vegas, like everywhere. And I was like, are there White Castles in San Diego?
No, I don't think so. I went to one in Michigan. It was highly disappointing.
It's not the best presentation, but it's a good burger.
I don't even think it's a good burger.
Well,
I had it for the first time last summer, and I was really excited going into it because I do love the Harold and Kumar movies because I have heard people forever talking about them. Maybe it just depends on your mindset going in to the White Castle. Like maybe you have to be a certain level of stone.
You have to have had a couple beers. It's not a, hey, let's take the family to White Castle. It's more of a, hey, there's nothing left to eat. And we've been out drinking all night. That's kind of a White Castle vibe.
I will, if you're in Vegas and there are White Castles everywhere, like you said, if you are wandering around the strip in the middle of the night and you see a White Castle, there is a line out the door. Usually.
Oh yeah.
It's nuts. Maybe it's just a tourist attraction because I didn't think the burger was that good. All right. Before we get out of here today, Mike Schilt, Dave Roberts, home plate tonight. It's the war on the shore.
The war on the shore. I like that.
I don't hate it. I feel like those two guys should probably just duke it out. Think about it.
Maybe we start a boxing promotion.
Think about it. Last year in the NLDS, we have video of Dave Roberts slow motion screaming at Manny Machado, who was playing third base. Last night, we have slow motion video of Mike Schilt screaming at Pajes. I believe the quote out of Mike Schilt's mouth was, "Who the F do you think you are?"
Yeah.
Why don't the Papas just say, you know what? We're going to leave the Suns in the barn right now.
That? I think who's got the better jab?
It depends on who goes first.
I feel like Schilt might have a better jab.
Schilt's got a real low center of gravity. He's a very boxy individual.
See, I feel like Dave might have the power, but Schilt's got the jab.
I'm telling you,
working it all night.
So you go out to home plate, right? Managers every single game, they shake hands as they exchange lineup cards, give the lineup card to the ump. I think when that happens, whoever grabs the hand first either needs to just throw a quick left hook or pull him down.
Real quickly, we have 20 seconds. Who would you nominate one person from the Padres, one person from the Dodgers for a match? Not managers.
I want Gavin Sheets.
Sheets that'd be a tough man.
That dude's a horse, man.
I think Sheets.
28 years old, got a lot of baseball in front of him. He's okay. And honestly, the Padres are okay if Sheets gets suspended for a bit.
I think the Dodgers, Teoscar versus Sheets would be a fun little match.
Dude, that is a bloodbath. That's what that is.
619 says Johnny Depp is Pirates Caribbean.
I agree.
619 had to double check my iHeart app. Thought I had turned on KMBR for a minute.
Nah, we know some of the people up at KMBR.
All the Niner love.
Here's the thing. Don't get mad at me when they win a Super Bowl. All right. Just saying.
Okay.
It hasn't happened in my lifetime. I feel like this is the year.
Listeners, I know what that sounds like.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. More Billy Curtis tickets. John and Jim coming up next. San Diego Sports 760.